Trump is visiting with U.S. troops. He's also expected to raise criticisms of a U.S.-South Korean trade pact when he meets the South Korean President Moon Jae-in. Let's go to Seoul and speak to TRT World's Shamim Chowdhury. Shamim, is the South Korean public unanimous in its support for Donald Trump's belligerence towards Pyongyang?
No, it's not, Adnan. And in the past few days, there have been numerous protests, both for and against America, that have been taking place in the heart of Seoul. And as we were walking through the center of the city today, we saw many of them. Some of them are very anti-sanctions. Some of them are very anti-Trump. But on the other hand, some of them have been welcoming him. This is the first time in 25 years that a U.S. president has made a state visit to South Korea. And it is a big deal. Whether you like him or not, it is considered to be quite a huge event here. You can hear this fanfare in the background. For the past few hours or so, we've been hearing the U.S. national anthem, the South Korean national anthem, massive police presence here, many of them with riot gear. So they aren't necessarily anticipating anything to kick off, but they are taking precautions nevertheless. It's a bit of a complicated relationship with South Korea at the moment. The two countries have been very strong allies for a number of years. There have been, for many years in fact, and there have been U.S. troops here since the 1950s. But really the North Korea issue is the one that is really overshadowing this entire trip. That is what Donald Trump will be talking about, as well as aid, as you say. Two countries haven't quite seen eye to eye on the U.S.'s approach to North Korea. South Korea is of the belief that Donald Trump has been a little bit, shall we say, strong in his rhetoric, and there's a feeling here that it's not necessarily helpful. It could fuel further tensions. This is one of the main things that will be discussed over the next few days.
In every country he goes to, he wants to make sure that the U.S. gets its fair dues, as he sees it, in terms of bilateral trade. What will he say to President Moon about that, do you think?
Absolutely. America first is his motto. In terms of trade, it's been a little bit complicated. They will certainly be discussing it over the next few days. In particular, the bilateral free trade agreement, which has been in place for about 5 years or so, it's hit rocky ground in recent times. During Donald Trump's election campaign, he described it as horrible. He threatened to pull out of it. He hasn't done so. This is trade worth about $112 billion, and it encompasses a number of sectors, including cars, washing machines, even hairdryers, mobile phones. So it's a big source of revenue for the U.S., and even though his words were quite strong during the election campaign, I don't think he's about to do anything hasty. He has called for it to be modified, and our understanding is that this is something that's going to be very high on the agenda. South Korea has agreed to take a look at this agreement and see if they can adapt it, modify it to suit both their interests. So trade very high on the agenda over these next few days.